We have one public hearing scheduled tonight. It's council's intention to adopt the 2013 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, CAPER. The CAPER is the evaluation and performance report detailing accomplishments toward meeting the goals outlined in the 2010-2015 Consolidated Plan. The CAPER compares the actual performance measures with those measures listed in the 2013 Annual Action Plan. Is there anyone here to address that public hearing? Hearing none, I'll close that section of the public hearing. We'll call the regular meeting of Christiansburg Town Council to order. We do have a quorum here. I will ask if you had a chance to review the minutes from the previous meeting. And if so, I will accept at your leisure a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, that's 5-0. This is the citizens' hearing portion of the council meetings, and we allow and ask citizens to come and address council with any issues or items that they may have, any questions or concerns. Is there anyone here tonight to address council? Hearing none, I will close the citizens' hearing. We are now into discussions by mayor and council members. Our first item is town council action on a conditional use permit request by Wayne Brockenbrough for residential use at 302 West Main Street, tax parcel 526-A-180 in the B2 Central Business District. Public hearing was held September 23rd, 2014. And I believe this was to construct 3 single-level senior apartments.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion that we approve the CUP request by Mr. Brockenbrough.
Second.
For the residents use at 302 West Main Street.
I have a motion and a second.
With the conditions.
With the conditions as presented, yes, sir.
Conditions, okay, and I do believe this was voted on at planning commission.
Approved.
Okay. All right, so I have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, you want to poll the council?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Sykes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Huzen?
Aye.
I believe that to be 5-0, that motion carries. The second item is a conditional use permit request by Glenn and Karen Smith for a bed and breakfast inn at 305 East Main Street, tax parcel 527A-125 in the R3 multifamily residential district. Public hearing was held September 23rd, 2014.
I would also make a motion, Mr. Mayor, to approve the CUP request by Glenn and Karen Smith for the bed and breakfast at 305 East Main Street, as presented. With the conditions.
Whatever, with conditions.
With the conditions.
With conditions.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop?
Aye.
Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Sykes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Huzen?
Aye.
I believe that to be 5-0. Lions Drive parking restrictions. This is a review of council action on April the 8th, 2014. Mr. Langford?
Just basically, when we did host Lions Drive, you said bring it back to you for review in 6 months. It has been posted for garbage collection, basically to facilitate garbage collection. Hasn't caused any issues. I did check with the police department, engineering, and public works, and they haven't had any issues.
And
That's the one
this
we
one
had
had one side.
certain
And
areas.
it's just limited 1 day a week for
Right.
garbage collection day.
That's the, of course, the line gate there is
It's
the
just the
right
right
circle.
side, that's limited.
Okay, so that's working, no problem.
Yes.
Was that, Mr. Showalter, that was something was that something discussed at the water and sewer as well, or was that street committee, or was that council of whole? I'm just trying to remember.
We did a street committee meeting, a very extensive street
Yes.
committee meeting. You were there.
Okay,
And,
I remember now. I'm just trying to remember. But no issues at all? Fantastic.
That's good. Let's keep going.
I think the main thing, I haven't heard anything specifically, but has any other council members heard from residents down there? Because before we did hear some, I haven't heard anything.
I haven't heard a thing.
Okay, I'd say that's good. I appreciate
Mm-hmm.
Randy, our assistant town manager, checking with the departments too, to make sure if there's any other feedback. So I appreciate it being on the agenda. And
The good thing too is it was, the citizen concerns were brought to the attention, and it was talked about, discussed, not so much debated as it was just a lot of alternatives looked at, and we tried to find, to use a firm term from you, Brad, the least worst option, I guess, is the one we're looking for.
yeah.
And quite frankly, I think that residents knew that, so.
And the citizens got into it at that meeting.
Yes, they did. Well, they played a role.
Mhm.
They had a seat at the table. That's the way it should
All
be.
right.
Excellent.
We good? Next item is consideration of a resolution opposing partisanship in redistricting. And I sent you all something a couple of weeks ago, an article in the paper, and I think maybe, I'm not sure whether I had a copy of Blacksburg's resolution. They are supporting, and I believe the county is supporting, the plan to redistrict, not based on partisanship. And I don't know what your thoughts on it, if we want to join into the process.
Well, I think basically someone was asking for a resolution in support of no longer redistricting through gerrymandering. And, you know, I've read what Blacksburg had, you did give us a copy, and I've read a few other things. And it is really a complicated issue of what to do. But the way I look at it, I think it does need to be changed, and hopefully we've got people in the General Assembly that's smart enough to find a way to do it more meaningful than the way it's done right now. So I would support a resolution to ask them to do something different than gerrymandering.
And I would concur with Jim. I don't know if they'd actually use the word gerrymandering as to how they've done it before, but I think if history is any indication, it's been done along partisan lines to obviously help to sway the amount of support from the General Assembly. But I would have no problem at all supporting a resolution like that. It's just, I hope it doesn't fall on deaf ears.
Yeah.
But
I'd like to see us probably get a copy of the Blacksburg resolution and see if that could be adapted for us.
Is that the same one, Mr. Mayor, that the county looked at as well?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And several other localities have gone to it. I will, I'll get all that,
Please.
the copy of the resolution, and I'll have it for the next meeting on the 28th. Does that work? Okay. Resolution of support of downtown enhancement project.
Basically, it's standard resolution for downtown enhancement project. The enhancement projects are 80-20 grants, so 80% grant funded.
The resolution basically says we're ready to do it, and
Yes.
it knows that we have the 20% match.
Can we lump 4 and 5 together? Both enhancement projects, one in Huckleberry.
It suits me just fine. So we get, the next one is a support of the Huckleberry Trail Extension Enhancement Project. Jim, you have that one?
Yeah, I sure do. And all it is saying is that we want to go ahead with it, and we support the county's request for project and encourage the Commonwealth Board to establish a project for the Huckleberry Trail Christiansburg Extension.
Did we have one of these somewhere? I don't see it, but anyway, I'm just stealing Jim's and passing it around the table.
Mr. Mayor, since we reviewed these with council entertainment, I'd make a resolution that I'd make a motion that we approve of both resolutions for the downtown enhancement and the Huckleberry Trail Extension as presented.
I second that. And these were both in our agenda package.
They were.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll read it down, I figured it was gonna be around. All right, so we have a motion and a second, supporting both resolutions for downtown enhancement and Huckleberry Trail Extension Enhancement Project. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stokes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Huzen?
Aye.
That would be 5-0. Discussion regarding status of proposed town logo. This is a carryover from item from September the 23rd. I think in your agenda package, you have you had copies of all of the logos, and the one that somebody is, I'm proposing that we change somebody. And I will apologize to council. I took it upon myself to make that decision and forgot the whole concept of team. So we've all seen them. I have a lot of favorable comments from people that have seen it. Would like to go to the blue and gold, navy blue and Vegas gold, which is the high school colors, and it helps to, I think, enhance the partnership between the town and the school.
Top right hand corner, is that,
Top right? Yes, sir.
I like that one a lot.
I have a problem seeing the blue, but that's my eyes. But what I would like to be sure that we do is, we need to have one common logo used throughout for recognition. And I can support any of these, I mean, but which one of them are we going to be able to use uniformly and have it to give the contrast we need? I mean, we've got, I assume we're going away from green vehicles to white vehicles, and we're not looking at going back and changing anything. So if we, any of them would work on a white vehicle. But what about other items that we put logos on? Have we considered?
It works on the letterhead for the town. It's a good letterhead production.
Well, I could see that on white or
Yeah.
pink or
We've
whatever.
got it on recycling collection trailers, we've got them on recycling collection trailers, things like that.
Is there a,
There's one up in the, up on the town hall building.
I mean, I like that. I like the blue and the gold up in the top right hand corner. I think it's catchy. I think it would look great on, again, a white vehicle, which is, I guess, the cheapest vehicles, the white vehicles. So we're not painting them, I guess, or not adding a color to it. So I'm just wondering, if we were to go with something like that as a group, if that's what we agreed to, how many of these would we have to change as far as, currently we have on letterhead, we're using the, I guess, the bottom left, is that right?
No, we're using on letterhead now. I've been using out of my office the blue and gold.
The blue and
What's
gold.
everybody else use?
A lot of the department heads are using the blue and gold.
Okay.
It was their option to do.
But I would certainly concur with Mr. Van Hoosen. It'd be nice to have a uniform in blue and gold, if that's what the council's leisure is. Regardless of whatever it is, I would agree. I think it needs to be the same one. And I think it was mentioned last time about our brand, and it's a recognizable symbol, obviously. And I tell you, the Christiansburg jumps off the page too on that. It's a little hard to see on the, I mean, it's not hard to see. My eyes would have bad eyes. The top left and the top right, it doesn't, the top left doesn't jump off as much. I like that blue and gold though. It's very uniform. It's not a lot, it's not very busy. So,
The one, and I'll tell you, I think I told you 2 weeks ago, the one thing that Town Manager Helms has asked that we not try to change from a color standpoint of these lapel pins. We have about 1,500 of them. So we'll continue to use those for a while.
Well, yeah, I could see doing that, but I think eventually.
Oh,
we're gonna
eventually,
phase it in on
Yeah.
everything.
Sure.
And I
Anything
mean,
new gets whatever we decide.
yeah, whatever, anything new gets it,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's the reason, I want to make sure we've got something that we can use across the board.
I'm fine with it, if that's, if that's what people are liking, I think we should pick it, go with it, and everything new that we do should be that, and nothing else.
And what's our webpage have right now, and how long did it take to change it?
Right now, it's the navy and gold.
Last time I
Okay.
looked, it had that on there.
Okay.
I wasn't looking for it either, this came up.
Okay.
our town was chartered in, what, 17?
I think 1783.
92.
That's right back there.
1792, yeah. I
There
had
we
to cheat,
go.
had to cheat and look back there.
1792, yes, I got my long distance
I think we were
license.
founded in 1792.
That was the year prior to me being
But I
born,
think we were
so.
founded in 1792.
Easy to remember that.
All right, so will you want to put this to a vote? Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I say something? I know the notice bulletin bullets that we have online are the new seal, but the colors are still based on the bottom left, I believe, for the, basically the website theme. Maybe that's something we can, or have Becky address in the next 6 months, to uniform that, because it does look sort of awkward on there. I'm sure Civic Plus can come up with something that is easy to look at, to matches our colors.
Because even on the caper, I was looking at, this is the one, the bottom right's on this one.
Yeah, it's, we have a lot of different ones. Even the bottom left are some of the logos at the Aquatic Center, I think, aren't they?
And it'll be a phase in, I mean,
Everything
actually,
new will be that.
this is a new one.
10 years, yeah.
And we should adopt that color for like.
Yeah. How does that work on the black and white?
on the black and white vehicles. I mean,
Yeah, police vehicles.
they actually don't have, I don't think they have a logo there.
They don't have a
It's
logo.
at Christiansburg.
But what they have requested is if this is passed, is they would like to have these little window stickers reproduced, to either go on the bumpers or go in the back window, one of the windows of their car. So they're supporting, the rescue squad is asking for this on a new vehicle that they're in the process of obtaining. The fire department, they've all requested this blue and gold. Some of them had the others, they said, well, we'd really rather have this because it gets us, kind of more as to who we.
Well, honestly, and a shirt too, that bluish color with the gold, riding Christiansburg, Virginia on the left side as the moniker, it would be, I think, very professional looking as well. And the lapel pin, of course, being a little brighter color, different color, kind
I think
of
the,
add a little bit to that as
the
well.
one thing we'll find
Yeah,
is it will be cheaper to produce the proposed new logo on any shirts, because if you look at, like Brad, there's about 5 different colors on there. And every time you strike through the thing, it costs a little bit more money.
Well, the
So
only thing I ask is that we be consistent,
Yes.
and that's it.
I will take care of the consistency in the morning when I get to the office with an email.
Do you want to vote on these? Mike?
I'll make it, I'll put it on the agenda. I don't mind making the motion that we adopt the logo that the mayor has presented.
I'll second that.
And not only do we select this logo, but that we, from this day forward, that all new logos used by the town and the town council and the staff and whatnot on anything new that's purchased for future that reflects the new logo.
We got a motion and a second.
I'll second that.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stokes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Huzen?
All right.
Thank you, it's 5-0, and I appreciate you all setting me back in line.
I'm gonna make a motion.
All right, let's do that, Jim, we hadn't had any.
I move that town council enter into closed meeting under Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A3 for discussion or consideration of the acquisition of real property for a public purpose or of the disposition of public health real property for discussion in an open meeting would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body. The request pertains to property located in the Christiansburg Industrial Park.
Have a motion?
Second.
A motion and a second to enter into closed session, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stokes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Huzen?
Aye.
We will take minutes, clear the council chambers, and we will then go into our closed session meeting.
Not much exciting tonight, is
Good, okay.
I move to certify that the council of the town of Christiansburg meeting in closed meeting, in the best of each member's knowledge, discussed only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements by Virginia law, and only such matters as identified in the resolution to enter into closed meeting.
Have a second.
Second.
All those in favor, signify, no, you better call the roll there,
Yes, sir.
Madam Teacher.
Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stokes?
Aye.
Councilman Van Huzen?
Aye.
That is 5-0. Council's action on the matter?
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion that we authorize the town attorneys to take any and all action necessary to further extending the deadlines for building construction for those property owners in default on their property located in the Christiansburg Industrial Park.
That's the letter and agreement.
Yeah, pursuant to the terms of the I guess, the stated conditions and within the original agreements with those owners.
I'll second that.
Okay. So it would be not the original agreement,
That's the,
this is the new agreement, not the original.
when we just,
Yeah, let's revert that.
let me withdraw that motion, Mr. Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
I'll withdraw my second.
Let's try this again. All right, let's try that again, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
So I'd make a motion that we authorize the town attorneys to take any and all action necessary to further extending the deadlines for building construction for those property owners currently in default on their properties located in the Christopher Industrial Park pursuant to pursuant to an agreement to extend the time for the original deeded conditions.
good. All right,
Second.
a motion and a second, any discussion? Madam Clerk, when you're ready.
Councilman Bishop? Councilman Hall?
Aye.
Councilman Showalter?
Aye.
Councilman Stipes?
Aye.
Councilman Fantasia?
Aye.
It will be 5-0. Thank you very much. Council reports, Mr. Showalter?
Water, sewer, and solid waste. Committee met, was it 10 days ago?
That was last week,
Last week.
last Friday.
Time flies when you're having.
No, last Friday? Yeah, last Thursday night.
Just a couple things to update council. The Solid Waste Authority will probably put to a vote single stream recycling in the next couple months to see if that's going to be a reality for us. We did discuss what's in the future of discussion is mandatory garbage pickup. I know we've discussed this council, but it's something and there's a lot of, we went over their 5-year plan.
Mhm.
Some of that is curbside recycling, and commercial. Town does offer a commercial program for retailers, and if they so choose. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be discussing here pretty soon with their vision. We did discuss Dunlap sewer, which was the citizens who came in and told us, that their want to be on sewer, and in the budget year 16, 17, it's going to be there for design. And of course, Wayne had a lot, and of course, the engineering staff had a lot of different ideas and different approaches instead of traditional sewer lines and things like that, so.
Here, was that going to be part of a future agenda packet from Wayne? I thought he said that as well, that way everybody would see the breakdown.
I believe so, but I didn't, my interpretation is we probably won't touch on it until.
They have about a 5-year plan on
Yeah,
it, what they're
16,
doing.
17,
Yeah.
actually, so even though it's not gonna happen tomorrow or even next year, it is pretty close to at least look at the design, and they are looking at cost-effective measures out there, due to the lay of the land out there with the sinkholes and things like that. The only other thing would be, something I brought up, would be our Public Works is going to coordinate with events, to make sure the trash is up after each event, so that is going to be part of instead of Mayor Barber going down there and picking it up. And
That's why y'all pay me the big bucks, boys.
that's going to be part of the event committee application, where Public Works will reach out to the director of the events to make sure that even if they're going to get it, they do know that events going on, Public Works does know events going on, and that there'll probably be a need to stop by and get the trash next month. That's it for me.
Fred, Councilman Stipes?
I'd like to thank Mr. Wingfield and Mayor for organizing the carpools with VML. I had a great time. And understandably, had a couple council members that weren't able to participate for with good reason, but it's always a good time, and appreciated the opportunity to carpool. We had a great time, good fellowship and good learning and so forth. I want to thank on that, and also thoughts and prayers are with Councilman Hall's mother-in-law, and be footnote, but that's it for me.
Vice Mayor Van Hoosier?
I don't really have much to report. The Aquatic Advisory Board did meet on Wednesday last week. We continue to prepare for the work session with council on the 21st, and we're looking forward to it, and I'm sure we are too. And one thing I will caution you about is we've got about 2 hours set aside for that portion of the meeting, and it would include tour. So, and we do have another agenda item to take up in the work session that night. So hopefully we can get through both of them.
You're starting at 6. What night is that?
It's the 21st.
Next Tuesday.
So we're starting at 6, and I think it'll work out pretty good, and hopefully that's an interesting. And that's it.
You'll be in Mexico City or something, weren't you, Mr. Walker?
Climbed up Palmer, Mexico, that's exactly right, Sean.
I've got, I don't have anything really to add. One thing though about what Henry mentioned, I think he and I both were surprised that at the Water Sewer Committee meeting that the single stream will be reviewed and looked at and evaluated and determined the utility behind that by mid-November, which is just blows me away that they're that quick, the Solid Waste Authority. But again, good leadership there, certainly ruling the day, excellent from the top down. And I just want to make everyone aware, and Mr. Stipes, I appreciate what you mentioned. Actually, all of you have kept my mother-in-law in your prayers, and I do appreciate that more than you realize. I know she's on a bunch of church prayer lists as well. I appreciate that very much. The meeting on the 21st, I will do everything in my power to be there at that meeting. And I do have an issue just simply with childcare. It's that simple on that day. Worry about it. It'll be the day after the first surgery, so I've got 3 kids. My hope is to be there. At the very least, even if I have to wait a little longer and only can make the second half, which will be the compensation portion, I'll do what I can do. But I'm not trying to get you all to change the meeting date. I know we need to move on this. If you do want to change it, I'm fine with that too, but I'll leave it up to you all. But I just want to make y'all aware of that. I wouldn't be, for no other reason but that, I would certainly be there on the 21st.
On that meeting with Aquatic Advisory Board, there won't be a PowerPoint presentation, but there'll be a handout for folks so they can follow the presentation of the advisory board. And, they can have any question or anything like that. I'm sure we each can share with you if you do not make the meeting.
Okay. So,
Councilman Bishop?
As you know, last Tuesday, 7th, was the Fire Prevention Week parade, and of course, our department was involved in it. Last night, Chief Hanks was a guest speaker at the Royton Club on High Street. He said it was a nice meeting, good turnout, and apparently he enjoyed himself very much, so it was plenty to eat. On the 18th of this month, Christiansburg Police Department will be holding a fall festival, and of course the fire department will be part of that. And it's going to be held at the New Brook Valley Mall. And it says the time's going to be from 11 to 3. And just on a side note, this Saturday, CEI will be hosting their Cooking Around the World event at the Rec Center, and I believe the start time is at 12:30.
Yeah, that's, well, I hate missing those. Okay, I have a couple of things to update you on. First of all, the Farmers Market Committee is now pretty solid. We're just now trying to negotiate a meeting night. I've got 4 citizens involved. I've got Billy Aldridge is going to chair it, Randy will be on it, and Allison Long from just a publicity standpoint. Lady by the name of Emily Haddings, who's got quite a bit of experience in farmers markets. As a matter of fact, she's going to some symposium the 29th of this month about farmers markets. So that's taking place. Pretty soon DCI is on board with it, one of their members. The Downtown Christiansburg Committee is probably 90% complete. I did add Charlton McCoy from the rec department, so he'll have an input and he'll know about the trash and things too. The third thing is at the Mayor's Institute this past weekend, no, when was the past weekend?
Yeah, we can.
Whenever it was. We had a session on Sunday afternoon that's probably one of the best sessions that I've attended since, in my brief time going to the Mayor's Institute. We had Ron Rordam from the town of Blacksburg and Jeff Worrell, mayor of Pulaski. And it was the mayor's role in emergency situations. You know, Pulaski had the tornado that went through a couple years ago and devastated part of the town. And Ron, you know, had 2 shootings to deal with. And the thing that we all came away with was, you know, the mayor obviously needs to be involved as far as being there for support. But they all said, the best thing you can do is stay out of the way, let the guys that are the paid professionals and the ones that we've hired to do the job. So it's more helping to man maybe a communications post, and they were both extremely agreed that there doesn't need to be an email source and conversations back and forth. I think they waited, Ron waited until 2 days after the last shooting and sat down and did interviews, and Jeff said that it was probably 10 days before till he could get everything squared away. So the whole thing was, is me as the mayor and us as council, we kind of need to end the situation, and I hope it's not one like that tonight, with the weather coming, but we need to let the professionals do the job, and I appreciated that. Town manager's report.
Yeah, we've got 2 public hearings that we had previously set. We'd like to change the date on those to October 28th. First one is a conditional use permit by Radford and Radford Properties for residential use at 150 Arrowhead Trail in the B3 General Business District. And the second one is a conditional use permit that specifies Tanner Blankenship, agent for property owner Charles Hanks, for residential use at 201 Roanoke Street in the B3 General Business District.
What was that first address?
It is 150 Arrowhead Trail.
That's the first household we left coming in that was a show home, and it's, over the years, I think there's been some.
Bunch of yard sales stuff going on there for about 3 or 4
Well, that was
months.
clearing out of the state of something, but yeah, there was question as to whether it was legally used
Okay.
as a commercial property after a certain period of time.
We'd like to set those for the 28th. We also have a new public hearing to set. It is for a conditional use permit by Shaw Development LLC for residential use at 2765 Roanoke Street. That's the intersection of Patricia Lane and Roanoke Street. And we'd like to set that public hearing, council public hearing, for December 9th.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
5-0. Okay.
2 other code sections. One is we'd like to look at increasing or setting certain building inspection fees. We'd like to have that public hearing on November 18th. And also from the street committee meeting this afternoon, we had a draft ordinance for encroachments. Things like fences or retaining walls that might be in the right of way. Basically a grandfather status, may be considered having a revocable permit at the time of the adoption, require a permit otherwise. And we'd like to set that meeting for November 18th.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, 5-0.
A few reports from Public Works. They recently completed work at the Veterans Memorial in the town square. They installed a LED light, they painted the flagpole and the light pole, and they did some concrete work around the base of the memorial. Just looks a lot neater.
And the sidewalk, they repaired it now. Okay, and I think they were supposed to go back and they're supposed to level that lot up a little bit more.
Yeah, so they did a little bit of sidewalk work and upgraded the ADA requirements.
Okay.
Also, they've completed about 75% of the lane striping in town. They plan on doing the weather basically as weather permits.
Yeah.
And town cleanup status, as of the beginning of the week, they said that they were, I guess, pretty good on schedule. They were only about a half a day behind, although that's the good news because they say typically they're normally a day to 3 days behind after the first week. So, and they do, I guess, think the 3-in-1 buckets and the knuckle boom truck is part of the improvements in the cleanup. Also, just let you know, Public Works say they're ready for the storm tonight. They say we're gonna have, I think it's 2% chance of hurricanes in town, is what I read, so.
How many
Chance of
percent?
what?
Not hurricanes, but tornadoes.
I heard about tornadoes, but I.
Clearly, hurricanes.
What you know, the homecoming parade is tomorrow night.
All the
Homecoming parade.
Barry asked to give you an update on Huckleberry Trail. Not really much new to report. They're still saying the bridge should be open in November. Let you know, Megan Dorset has submitted a resignation from the planning commission effective end of the month. So you may want to think about replacement position, replacement candidates. That's all I've got.
You know, the only other thing, and I believe we did talk about this, maybe we did. Yeah, we were supposed to have a speaker come tonight in citizens hearing to request that the town sign on as a co-sponsor on this, on the Christiansburg High School Ghost Tour that is being held the 30th and 31st. And let me make sure I got it all right. The creative writing students at the high school, they are writing scripts, and they're all fictional. They may be based loosely on something, but it's kind of, they did this last year. The creative writing students are going to be acted out by the theater students. Posters will be created by the art department. The musical appearance by the drum line from the marching band will also take place. The event will start at the Aquatic Center, and the posters will be on display there. They're having an issue with Blacksburg Transit. Blacksburg Transit wants to charge them their normal fee, which is 50 cents every time you step on and step off, step back on, and step back off, or step off. So it's basically, Blacksburg Transit wants to charge them $2, the riders $2. The tickets are $4, and the proceeds, whatever proceeds goes back to support the art department and the different departments at the high school. We're hoping that by being a co-sponsor, we'll be able to negotiate, they'll be able to negotiate a better term with Blacksburg Transit. The projection is probably no more than 125 tickets will be sold. So that's, you know, $450, $500, and then they're gonna have to pay 240 of it out in fees. I would like to think that we could get into some type of partnership with them, or if council agrees, and I think Val could find the money, we would agree to pay that Blacksburg Transit portion so that the school would get 100% of the profits. It was done last year. It is not a haunted house by any means. It's certainly open to small children. I think they're going to several places in town. They're going to at one point be down at the at Cambridge Station. That's one of the stops on it, and they've asked us to sign on board as it being a town-sponsored event to help with BT. And if not, if they won't give them any break, I'd like to see us consider whatever that on and off fee that they got for these people, that we would maybe take care of it.
I'd
be fine with encouraging the use of the buses for an event like that. And what I mean, not was fine with it, I'd be happy to participate in, for the town to participate in. I think anything we can do to get people on the bus and get them, familiar with it is probably a good thing. It's a small price to pay to get.
Yeah, and they get to use those riders as part of their percentages when they're figuring, and that's the Go Anywhere bus, I think it is. All right,
I would support, I mean,
What are we looking at, a
couple of
$400?
I think at most, probably 260,
yeah,
$275. If you want to give me a figure
I'd support up to $250.
of 250, that we would, if BT won't cut them a break, we'll fund that 250 out of something. Now, if they say, well, we'll do it for $1, then we're only gonna be out, $125. If we go up to 250, I think that would help the school immensely.
All this is, all this is within the town of Christopher limits, everything.
Sure.
Then, why don't we just cover the whole charge, we don't?
All right.
I mean, honestly, just,
Well, I think we want to get back to, they wanted to go back to BT and say, look, this is a town-sponsored event, what are you willing to do out there?
and I would hope BT would work with.
Well, I would think, but if they don't, I think
It's
that
covered.
we'll just tell them we'll cover it. Is that?
What do you take that out of tourism?
You can.
You could.
You could,
You
because
certainly
it's
could.
promoting the town and everything, I do it that way.
We'll find a way to do it. I'm sure Val can find some money setting aside.
Right, you know, the CI banners are not gonna be a reality this year, it's just too late to get them in, so I mean, that's money we're not spending. Maybe next year, we'll be able to help them out, but it was just too late to get anything.
And Brett, I agree, I mean, you mentioned the 250, I figured we might be splitting hairs, it might be 270, I think because it's only within,
Covered up $200-300
I
to
see
go.
covered.
We'll cover it.
I mean, that's just what I'm just one minute, but
They have limited tickets, and there's
Right.
like 25 riders per bus, and so it's not gonna be at best, there'll be 5 loads. All right, so we're gonna cover it. I will try to get BT to cut us a break on it, and we'll go from there. General, just a head nod, are we okay with it? I've got you on record anyway. Okay, are we, anything else, Randy?
Real-
Oh, I was the last one that brought something in.
I got something real quick. Number one, citizens, I had a couple express that they were just thrilled about the bridge on 114, about seeing the S-curve come down, they cannot wait for that to be completed. I was thinking these two were individual bike riders, but just thrilled about the whole process and being able to do that. Number two, I had a couple citizen concerns coming from the off of exit 114. I know that's already an issue with the VDOT, but as you come into the town limits, the potholes. And I said, well, I'll bring that up tonight, and I don't know if that needs to be a street committee item, or if that can be something just be looked at. I come off that almost every day, and maybe I'm just blind, I just haven't seen them. That was brought to my attention by a couple.
I mentioned that in staff meeting about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I'm hoping that they're gonna go back and at least fix those potholes, but the overall schedule, I believe, is that's all, we're gonna replace some water lines
Yes.
out there, and it's gonna be repaved
Right.
at that point, so, but I did ask them to, if they could at least soften the blow a little bit and fix it.
Thank you, and I'll report that back. And the funny thing is that when they mentioned that to me, they said, it's dangerous for our cars, yes, but it's a shame that first thing we see when we come in down to Christopher, it's boom, 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 and then with my car, I said, okay, I understand, I'll bring that up. And the last thing I wanted to ask about is Barry had mentioned last meeting, or the meeting before last, the turn light, turn arrow there on the intersection of Depot and Roanoke Street. Now, we heard last time, or maybe months ago, it's been approved, and it's been about 90 days now. It was gonna be almost an additional year to get that in there?
I don't think it was that long, I think it was
Okay.
I remember about 3 months. I know there's a delay in getting the contractor, I think they're.
The date I remember, and I think we're now Saturday, it'd be done by March.
I think Wayne reported on that in staff meeting a couple of weeks ago, that it was, it could take up to a year, but they certainly don't think it will.
Okay.
It should be in the very near future.
And and just so, because I was asked by the individuals specifically that asked, have me bring that up, it's because of the contractor's issue that,
There's really only one contractor that does that. The this area, and I think they're fairly tied up.
I would, Mr. Hall, I'll confirm that. It's Richardson Whalen.
Mhm.
They're the only, they are the expert, and they're very good at what they do, and there are people lined up to put them to work. And so they are extremely log jammed. I'll tell you that. Roanoke County is waiting for about a year and a half for a pedestrian signal at Williamson Road Plantation. That money's just been sitting there ready to spend, but there is a backlog, so that makes
I
perfect
think
sense to me.
they're gonna piggyback them on with something else they're getting ready to do when they get them up here.
Yes.
Okay, so that's good.
One of the things I did see today was encouraging, and it was gonna happen, or at least thought of us, they're putting the push buttons in there at the Holiday Inn, going over to the,
It's called pedestrian controls, yeah.
It's good.
That's good.
That's a nice one here, that whole thing is
yep,
doing very good. That's all I've got.
Okay, anything else to come before council?
I got one thing, I had a couple citizens, at the old POF building, or the POF, construction site, and I actually emailed Randy today, and he sent me the old zoning, permit that we issued way back in 2009. I just wanted, there were some complaints about the conditions of the buildings, kids, just, Columbus Park is basically designed around kids, and of course, the neighboring residential, there's a lot of kids on Chico and the townhomes and things like that. If we could just visit to make sure they've met all their conditions. Brandy sent it to me, I appreciate it, I was reading it over it, but just to make sure they've met all the conditions way back in 2009.
One thing, I don't think they're really using that property for that use, so I don't think they really have any conditions.
None, like the
Because
security
they aren't
fencing,
using it
anything
for,
like
they
that.
aren't using it for their garage or shop area. Basically, they're just holding it right now.
Does the county own that piece of
Yes,
property?
yes, they do. I think they do have a little bit of storage on there, but I think it's more material storage. It's not a garage and equipment storage, which is what the conditional
I
use.
understand, a lot of those buildings are open, and I'm sure we have some sort of,
And
but, these are empty buildings that are, anybody can walk in and they're unlocked, there's holes or
glass
doors.
house, something like this.
So at least they could button that up.
But this is the county again, right? They own,
Yeah,
they own
they
it
have
also.
that, yeah.
We'll maybe contact Craig or one of them, just say if we could do a little button-up job on it.
That's it.
All right, very good. And do I hear a motion to adjourn?
so good.
Second.
Second.
Third.
All those in favor signify by getting up and leaving. We are adjourned.